What is up, YouTube? So today I'm going to be talking about my common only or common charity or popper, whatever you want to call it, Lunalight deck for 2022, a new year. And I'm going to be still talking about Lunalights for the, what, 6th year in a row. But before I do want to get into the video, I do want to say that every single Lunalight card is common. Do not come in the comments and say, oh, this card is not common. But if you look at the Legendary Sisters or the Season 2 reprints, you will see that every single Lunalight card in existence is a common. The Lunalight Fusion got reprinted, so Serenade Dance, Saber Dancer, Yellow Martin, Emerald Bird, all of these cards got reprinted. So this deck is pretty powerful, pretty strong. And I'm going to be showing you guys a 2-card combo which leads to an OTK through a board of special summon monsters. If they have like normal summoned or set monsters, it can be kind of hard to kind of win over that, but you'll be in a pretty good spot nonetheless, even if you can't OTK them. And then I'll showcase the deck profile, then I'll show some side patterns and, you know, how to play the deck overall. So let's get into the combo. I'm going to start off with the Kaleido Chick and the Perfume. These are your best cards in your deck, honestly. And so you're going to, first you're going to normal summon the Kaleido Chick. You're going to use the effect of Kaleido Chick to send the Yellow Martin from your deck to your graveyard. And then you're going to activate Perfume. Perfume is going to reborn back the Yellow Martin that you've sent to the graveyard with the Kaleido Chick. And then you're going to overlay into the best card in this common charity format. And that is the Redoer. Redoer is insane. Even if you cannot OTK, even if you can't get out any of your fusion monsters, Redoer is that monster that you need to go into. He generates so much advantage. It's hard to deal with. And without a Kaiju, like, you're just going to be constantly getting cards like Yellow Martin to activate their effects, or you're going to be getting like their cards from their deck, like trap cards, spell cards. Like, that's just, it's just so much advantage you get from this card. So you're going to use the effect of Redoer. You're going to detach the Yellow Martin as an effect, so you get the effect of Yellow Martin after the chain resolves, and then you're going to add the Serenade Dance. Serenade Dance is going to be pretty good. So you already have a Perfume in the graveyard, which is going to get that Serenade Dance from your hand to your graveyard, and then you're going to search out the Emerald Bird. You're like, why would you search Emerald Bird here? It doesn't really do anything. But you're going to be using the Serenade Dance in your graveyard to essentially get this Emerald Bird and trigger its effect after you special summon a monster with the Serenade Dance. So you're going to special summon the Wolf. This is pretty important. You always want to do this. Unless you already have a Wolf, you want to always special summon it off of this effect. You can also, if you also have Emerald Bird, you can, you know, add any card you want to, like maybe another Wolf if you want to play around like Cosmic. That's a pretty common card in this format, or MST, whatever. And then you're going to use the effect of the Emerald Bird since it was sent to the graveyard by a card effect. And you're going to special summon the Kaleido Chick that was in your graveyard from before. Then you're going to use the effect of Yellow Martin from your graveyard, and you're going to special summon it from your graveyard by returning your Wolf back to your hand. And then you're going to send the Panther Dancer from the deck to your graveyard. Remember, yes, Emerald Bird does negate the effect, but because Kaleido Chick is a cost to send, you cannot negate cost. You can always pay cost. The other effect is, well, the other part of the effect is to copy the name. So sending the card from your extra deck or your deck to the graveyard is not a part of the effect that is going to get negated. So you're going to send the Panther Dancer from your extra deck to the graveyard by the effect of Kaleido Chick, and then you're going to link away both of the Kaleido Chick and the Yellow Martin into the Underclock Taker. This is a pretty common combo if you know Lunalights. Well, you know, the standard Lunalights, not the Lunalight Orcus deck that was in 2019, but you're going to use the effect of Wolf, banish the 3 cards that are in your graveyard, and then you're going to special summon the Lunalight Leo Dancer. This is an insane, powerful card. Not only is it a Towers card, but it's also pressure for your opponent. And now you're going to use the effect of your Kaleido Chick, which is going to stun their cards when you enter the battle phase. So this is pretty important. A lot of people forget that Kaleido Chick has the effect that once you enter the battle phase, they cannot activate any more cards. So once you get in that battle phase, you know you're going to secure the game because they can't activate nothing. So a lot of people forget it. Never forget this card. This card is really good. You can banish it off of the lore to trigger the effect as well. So there's many different ways to just banish Kaleidochick. Not just from using it as fusion material from Wolf. But yeah, Kaleidochick is very, very strong. And then you're going to use the effect of your Underclock Taker to lower any of their monsters in attack position by 3,500, which will probably leave their monster at 0 attack. And then you're going to go into the battle phase. You're going to attack with your Leo Dancer. You're going to use the effect to clear the entire board. And then you're going to attack for 35 on that monster that was turned to 0. You're going to attack again for another 35. That is 7,000. And then you're going to attack directly with the Underclock Taker, which is 1,000. That is in total 8,000 damage or 8k damage to your opponent's life points. So that is pretty good. So now let's get on to the deck. The deck is pretty standard. It's just like normal Lunalights, but I've seen a lot of lists from this common charity format and what people are kind of building their deck to be like. And I see a lot of the other Lunalight cards, like let's say for an example, they're playing like the Blue Cat. I feel like this is more of a win more card, along with the other Lunalight cards, like they're not here, but I think it's the Crimson Fox, another card that's just, it's not that good. The Black Sheep, I don't think that's good at all. I think focusing on the level 4 monsters that, you know, are really good is like your main key focus. You just want to focus on this because they get you to Redoer and they give you advantage. Blue Cat doesn't give you advantage unless it like gets destroyed by a card effect or by battle. Crimson Fox is just like targeting protection, but you don't really care outside of like Cosmic Cyclone. But even then, like that, it just doesn't come up. Or like any, like if they target your card with Book of Moon or something like that, it's just not really that important. So I'm maxing out on all of the good level 4 Lunalights. That is Emerald Bird, Yellow Martin, and Kaleidochick, obviously, and then the one Tenki, sadly. Then I'm playing the Grepher and the Armageddon Knight engine. This is just really good. It's just another copy of the Kaleidochick because you always want to get access to Yellow Martin in the graveyard. That'll give you an extender if you have something like a Lunalight Wolf or Perfume or a Monster Bro in your graveyard. So always getting access to something like Yellow Martin to go into that rank 4, just Redoer, which is pretty solid. Perfume at 3, this is like super standard. These two cards are like pretty much your bread and butter. This is like pretty much your OTK, as I showed earlier in the video. Lunalight Fusion is a card that I'm still iffy about. I don't really like it, but the one thing that makes this card very strong is that not only is it searchable by Yellow Martin, but it does play around the card Lancia. Lancia is a very powerful card against Lunalights because if you can't banish, you can't fusion summon. You can't use Serenade Dance in the graveyard. You can't use Perfume from the graveyard. So getting that fusion spell in your deck and just activating it, regardless of Lancia or not, is just really solid. So it's just a way to play around Artifact Lancia, and I think it's like pretty solid. But besides that, it's like really bad. If you draw it, I guess you can like send it without Emerald Bird. But besides that, like I don't really focus too heavily on the Lunalight Fusion. I mainly just focus on the Lunalight Wolf because it's less advantage you have to go through. Since you can just banish from the graveyard, and that's not really any of your cards in your hand or on the field. So the next few cards is just like consistency cards, and then your staple hand traps or going second cards. So Foolish Barrel Goods, obviously really good to send any of the Lunalight monsters. Even if you wanted to send like Kaleidochick, that could be pretty good. Foolish Barrel Goods to get your Perfume or your Serenade Dance into the graveyard. Call by the Grave is just a really solid card, going first or going second to stop stuff like Lancia, stops like DD Crow, stops like Droll, Ash. Like it's just like really solid. It could also stop like the Tenyi stuff. I know Tenyi is like a pretty decent deck. It can stop like the Gokis from floating. There's just a bunch of applications for this card. So even if you're going second and it's not really that good, you can just ditch it with like a Perfume or a Serenade Dance, which is just really powerful. Then Pankratops is obviously really good. Even if they have towers monsters, you can always pop their other cards or their back row. So it's just like, or it could just be a body on board for OTK. So that is just really good for Pinkertops. And then the Kaiju, the Radiant Kaiju. It's a dark monster you could send with Dark Refer, which is really, really good. And I was also testing a lure, but I don't really like a lure. It's just not really that good. Because you don't want to be banishing, like, why would you ever want to banish a Cloud Chick? Why would you ever want to banish a Yellow Marn? You'd rather, like, discard it from, like, Emerald Bird, or, like, use it as fusion material for Poly. Like, it's just not that good to, like, banish, like, cards from a lure. You can also play Desires, but I'm not really a fan of Desires, like, ever. Like, I'd rather play like more consistency cards. I'd rather get to like the rank 4 pool rather than to try to draw like 2 random cards. But you can definitely test out Desires. You can definitely test out Allure. I just personally don't like them. And then your hand traps, you have Ash, Droll, Effect Veiler. They're all common, by the way. You can check on the website. There's always the Konami database. You can just look at any card. You can see if it's common. It'll always say like, it won't say like the rarity. This is like a common. Like the Harpy Queen is a common. It won't say the rarity, but you see how like Harpy Channeler is like an ultra rare. It'll, you know, show you. But yeah, you can just look and see what cards are common. I don't know if there's a better way to like search up commons, but yeah, basically you're just playing 9 hand traps is really good for like Goki or Lunalights. Or it's not really good against Tenyi, but Tenyi is not really a hard matchup to deal with. The hard part is dealing with the trap cards, and you could kind of play around the trap cards with your Lunalight stuff pretty easily. So like for the extra deck, you have the 1 Cat Dancer, not really that important. Panther Dancer, really important to get in the graveyard. Then your Leo Dancer, this is your boss monster. Saber Dancer, or yeah, this Saber Dancer it's really, really good. Especially when you're having a hard time outing a monster. The other towers monsters, you can just like gain attack by banish this card from your graveyard. It could also be a towers on its own, so that's pretty good. Like this card is pretty decent. I feel like a lot of people underrate this card. But then we go to the 2 copies of Redoer. Redoer is just very, very strong. And since like the Solemn cards are in the format, you always want to have like a second copy in the extra deck. And because like there's not really that many good like Link monsters or rank 4 monsters that you can also play. So why not play the second Redoer instead of playing like some crappy card? I can't even think of another crappy like XYZ or Link 2 you can play over it. But just Redoer is just so insane in this deck particularly because you can trigger stuff like the Yellow Martin and the Emerald Bird. You just want to play like multiple copies. Like why not? Nightmare, I don't really like this card, but it's in the extra deck anyway for just like weird matchups. Dark Rebellion, just to lower attack as well, can be like another Underclock taker to like go for OTKs. Tornado Dragon's really good for outing back row. This is really, really solid. Underclock taker, obviously this card is really strong. Barricade Board Blocker is pretty good because you could pretty much discard any of your perfume, or you have like a Serenade Dance you can't get out your hand. You could just go Barricade Board Blocker, discard 1 card, and then you know at the end phase you do get a continuous spell card or a field spell, but like yeah, that doesn't really matter. But so this is like really good just to get your Serenade Dance into the graveyard. Duramadoll, this is really good if you have Tenki. Otherwise, do not use the effect unless you want to pop your own wolf, which might come up in some games, but for the most part, it's like pretty decent for just like popping your Tenki. And then Borlo Dragon is just like an extra spot. Like I don't see me ever making this card ever, but if you do have the chance to make this, it can be really good against some matchups, like against some of the towers cards that you can take control of. So. This is pretty much the deck, but before I do end this video, I do want to show you some side patterns. I think there's some decent side patterns you can do with this deck. So let's just go over to Dueling Book. Let's go to the solo mode, and let's go to begin siding. Let's go. That was a good hand, by the way. But basically, if you're going against like Tenyi, I would side in more back row hate instead of like siding in like more hand traps like DD Crow. So basically, you're probably gonna side, yeah, you're just gonna side back row hate. You don't really care about the towers that much. So you're just gonna side out like this. Veiler's not really good against Tenyi, so you're gonna take out that. Call by the Grave, it's decent going second, but you'd rather have something like Red Reboot. And then Droll is not really good against the deck, so oh yeah, Dueling Book is acting stupid. Um, so basically you could side out like Droll, and then this could be pretty good. Like, you only really care about the back row against the Tenyi archetype. And then for Goki, you could just side in like more kaijus. Like, you could take out this, and that's like perfect siding. You can also side in like the DD Crows if you feel like you're gonna have a hard time against it. But I feel like this is fine. Like, 5 kaijus, 9 hand traps should be enough to like kind of get rid of their towers monsters or stop them from getting to their towers monsters, which is pretty solid. And then for the mirror match, I feel like the mirror match, you probably side in like DD Crow instead of like the Radiant Kaiju. Maybe Radiant Kaiju is good to like keep in. But like Veiler is like pretty bad against the deck. So you're probably gonna side in like the DD Crow. So this is pretty much like what you're gonna do. Radiant for like the Redoer. Ash is just good for anything. Droll is really good because this deck adds a lot. DD Crow is good for a lot of different reasons. You can hit like Yellow Marin if they use the effect of Emerald Bird targeting their chick. You can banish their chick. You can banish their Panther Dancer from graveyard. So there's pretty much like a bunch of different things you can side into. Going first, you can side in like Cosmic Cyclone. I think it's like really good, and then like maybe 1 Twin Twisters for the Pankratops and the 3 kaijus. The 3 kaijus can be pretty strong, and then have something like this. So like they're not gonna expect the Cosmic Cyclone or the Twin Twister against them going first. And you could just hit like the Wolf. You can hit Tenki with the Cosmics. DD Crow, as I said before, you can hit stuff, Droll, Ash, etc., etc. And then for like the back row decks, you're probably gonna side in like everything, like all the back row hate, and take out like most of the hand traps except like maybe Ash. Probably going to be keeping Pankratops. I've seen a lot of Thunder King Ryo, which is like kind of scary. Lunalight Fusion's not really good against these trap decks, so probably not gonna side those in. Maybe side out the Kaijus. I don't think the Kaijus is really necessary. Maybe Ash. It depends. If they're playing like Desires, maybe, but like at the same time, you're probably side out like maybe 2. Like something like this can be like pretty fine. So yeah, like this is like basic side patterns you can do with the deck. And yeah, I mean, that's it, guys. Like, this is pretty much standard Lunalights. Like, it's nothing really too difficult with this deck. All you got to do is like play a lot of this deck, learn the combos, learn the different like routes you can do. Learn to play around Artifact Lancey, that could be pretty good. Learn to play around DD Crow. Droll is a pretty strong card against this deck. Playing around Ash is always standard, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I am out. Peace.